Hi! Welcome to Create Utopia, in which hosts Chicory and Zero muse over many issues in the style of so many modern millennials, all around the peaceful, flickering light of video games! We hope you enjoy it! Now on with the show! What are we playing today, Zero?
Today we are playing by popular Chicory request. We are continuing our game of Don't Starve.
It's true, I really liked this game. It was really fun to watch. I think it's really cute, and I really like the artwork, so we decided to keep watching it.
What are we talking about?
We are talking about stuff and also things, but mostly this article about religious freedom and what religious freedom is, and we've kind of already talked about it some previously, but we wanted to because this whole Kim Davis thing has come up, and just religion stuff is just continuing to be a big mess. Because where does religious freedom begin and where does it end? And when are you being persecuted and when are you just saying that you're being persecuted while you're persecuting other people?
Those are some deep questions.
Yeah, they're definitely aggravating questions to me. I get tired of it. I don't know. Maybe it's because, sometimes if you are being bad, I think, then let me back up. I used to be a libertarian and be like, government screws everything up and people, will do the right thing if they are given the chance and blah 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 blah. Which I think is a lot of the libertarians speak, but then I don't know. I changed my mind. I don't think that people always do the right thing, or I also think that people can be just dumb and not think that they're doing something good or something good for them or something that they think is better than what other people are thinking about, and can be very cruel to people and unfair. And so then it's like if you have to have an active government to be like, no, we're going to make you be fair.
I mean, all of that sounds much more reasonable than perhaps your libertarian self would like. But
Then the thing is that then people can take advantage of the government. The government is still people. People still screw up. I don't want to say that the government is perfect. I just also think that I don't know how to say this. Neither one is perfect, I guess. But hopefully, laws over a long time will be made, the long arc of history will be better and better. I think we've said that before. Is that a
yeah, that's the
beehive?
Yes.
Go look at the beehive.
I'm looking at it right now. I'm not getting closer.
But look, there's a bee. It's a friendly bee.
I know, that's why I'm... Yes, friendly. Here, you know what? Inspect.
It's buzzing with activity.
Yep. Are you happy now?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I like bees. I really like bees. They make honey and I love honey. Anyway, so, yeah, what? So, as far as this article is saying, it's and also what these Republican pundits and candidates for president are saying is that they use this form of speech which is for religious liberty, but it's not a they're basically wanting the right to be jackasses, to be discriminatory. So with Kim Davis, they're comparing her to Martin Luther King Jr. in some ways because she sacrificed for her quote unquote her conscience. I won't say quote unquote. She believes what she's doing, and so she went to jail for not doing something that the court ordered her to do. But really, she didn't have to go. She could have been like the other county clerks that just quit their job. If you're not able and willing to do your job, you should quit. And part of being willing to work for the government is now being okay with gay marriage because that's now federally a thing.
Well, there's the question, right, of the there's a lot of discussion among the Republican folks in Congress at the moment, and at large. So at Congress, in local governments, etc. There's all this discussion on what laws is it okay to follow. And the weird thing is that, I guess it's not even that weird, they're unfortunately inconsistent about it. And that's kind of the problem. Because Martin Luther King Jr. was very consistent about what he believed, and that was that essentially the law of the land was designed to hurt his people.
But his people being African American people,
yes,
not also gay people or anything, right? I mean, like, that was his main concern.
Yes, that was his main concern. We'll just go with that. Martin Luther King Jr. was not crusading necessarily for gay rights. He was not against them. He knew folks like Bayard Rustin. But in this case, this is not, nobody is taking your freedom away. You are still, we've talked about this before, you are still free to attend, you are still free to choose what weddings you go to and what weddings you don't go to. You are not suddenly forced to attend a wedding because it's now legal.
Yeah.
Like, the fact these people can get married doesn't mean you are required to get married to them.
Nobody's gonna make you get gay married. You can get straight.
Right.
Nobody's gonna take away your ability to get straight married.
Right. You're not losing anything. Essentially, what she is complaining about is her loss of privilege to discriminate. There's nothing else that she's really like losing except that now she can't arbitrarily pick and choose which people don't get licenses at her place. Whereas, say, if Christians were allowed, if for some reason we did ban Christians from getting married, I would be right there on her side, as this is a thing we shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
This is bad. Like, I think discrimination is wrong. She apparently thinks discrimination is okay as long as it's not against her. And that's more problematic to me. And she's characterizing things as discrimination that just aren't.
Yeah, it's like I was reading somebody's page the other day, and they had this picture up that was like, you can be Christian and still like gay people and still not believe in gay marriage. And I was like, I mean, you can disagree with them insofar as they might not be married in the eyes of their God, but if you're going to stop them from getting the legal benefits of being married that you have available, then that's discrimination, and suddenly you have to be okay with saying, well, I'm discriminating against these people. And, it's like saying, well, if you're going to say that, you're going to be, like, racist. And nobody really wants to say, I'm discriminating. Nobody really wants to say, I'm being racist. Like, those are things that quote-unquote good people don't do.
Well, and there's a bigger issue at stake in what you just said, which is that essentially, she wasn't even saying, she's saying, I speak for all Christians. Like, this should be an outrage to lots of people because not all Christians agree with her.
Yeah.
When people hold her up as the epitome of some theoretical Christian sect, it is just that. It is a section of Christianity that doesn't believe that gay people should be able to get married, but it's not every Christian, certainly.
No.
There's lots of Christians who believe that it's fine, and she was withholding from them legal rights. So the problem is not that she doesn't believe that it's okay for them to get married. Mm-hmm. Because if it was just that, it would be one thing, but she also was withholding from them their legal rights.
Was that a bunny trap?
Yes.
Are we gonna keep them as pets?
We are possibly going to make them into earmuffs.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, don't worry about it. And that's the problem. Nobody is saying you as a Christian can't disagree. Yeah. You can disagree. It's morally debatable that you disagree, but whatever. I'm not your parents. Feel free to disagree. If you are withholding someone's legal rights because you disagree, then there's a bigger problem going on here. because you don't get to choose other people's morality for them. In the same way, and they shouldn't get to pick your morality for you, which is an important step. Like, you don't, the whole issue here is that she doesn't want her morality to be defined for her. So, my fire. So she's defining other people's morality for them?
Yeah. At the same time, though, like,
Like,
they want to claim, being. Ah! They want to claim, this sort of religious freedom, but basically they're using their religion as a tool, as like an excuse to be able to do what they want. And they're like, well, we don't want to be religious except for this. It's okay to be to use religious law when you're using Christian law. But then I read all these things that, a lot of religious Christian people are very scared of using other religions' laws. Like, they very much don't want to be told what to do by someone else's religion. And then they don't see that this is like a double... What is the word that I'm looking
standard.
for? Double standard.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about it.
What was that? Are you scared?
See this tree monster that started walking towards me when I went to cut down a tree?
Ah! Yes! Okay, so we talked about it?
I lost my train of thought due to the tree monster.
It's very disconcerting.
We were talking about Sharia law.
Yeah.
And the issues therein.
Yeah.
And how people were so afraid, especially, like, it's not quite as bad now as it used to be, but people in 2010 were really concerned about Sharia law taking over the United States.
Oh no, they're still scared.
I'm not saying that they aren't still scared now, but I would say that fever kind of reached its pitch.
Zero, watch out!
In 2010. Yeah, I see it. It's slow. It's just scary when it first pops up and you're like, oh crap, tree monster. I just don't want it to follow me home or I have to set it on fire.
Okay. Yeah, so there was this huge thing of Sharia law fear, but it hasn't really gone away. I don't know. I don't want any, religious law in my country. Unfortunately, it's
and
kind of
neither
already...
did the founding fathers.
But it's already kind of set up, And the founding father,
Yeah.
I think, were not perfect. And I think that they knew that they were not going to be perfect. And so they did kind of set things up, being like, hey, you can change this in the future. Because the founding fathers were totally okay with, lots of bad things and treating other people as not equals. And that was not a great thing to do, founding fathers.
It's true. I mean, slavery being a thing, and then the constant attempts to revise slavery as not being a thing.
Oh, man. It was definitely a thing. But also treating, just lots of things. Not just treating, having slaves, but also not thinking of women as equals either. Like, just only really being in favor of white men.
Essentially, in the Founding Fathers' day, in order to be important, you had to be a white male landowner.
Yeah. So you couldn't even be not a landowner. You still wouldn't be able to, do stuff. They still didn't really like you.
Yeah.
So,
you had to be white, you had to be male, and you had to be the landed.
Yeah. And I think that in a lot of ways as somebody that lives in an apartment, we've come a long way from that. And I think that that's important to remember. Founding fathers are a great place to start, but you shouldn't base your entire argument around them, I think, personally.
Well, true. A good argument is never based around only one focal point, right? Like, you need to base your arguments around a lot more than that in order for them to be good arguments.
I feel like the people that want to discriminate against, homosexuals and things because they don't think that, gay people should get married and have, the legal benefits of that are basing their argument around the Bible and the Holy Father. The Founding Fathers.
The Pope? He's coming! We'll have another chance to talk about this when the Pope shows up,
That's true. And Pope... Also, okay, can we talk about ad hominem stuff for a second? Just 1 second? And,
sure.
The ad hoc attacks against Kim Davis and just how that's not great to do. I don't agree with this person, but I definitely, I don't want to just be one of those people that like dismisses someone just because of the way that they look, or just because they are religious. Like, people who are religious can make good, strong arguments. She just doesn't.
And we've talked about this before, the distinction between... So there is a distinction between being argumentative and being involved in discourse that is a nuance a lot of people miss. Okay. And the important part of that nuance is that a lot of people just like to be in arguments, and when you're in an argument, you just want to fight. And that level of like just wanting to fight is bad. It's bad for discourse. Like, it's bad for communication.
It's
you
hard
can't
to learn
be
things
going
that
into
way.
this. Right. And it puts people on the defensive. And the problem is that it's such a part of our culture that it can be hard to have a conversation where the other person is not assuming you're trying to fight.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So
I had one other thought, but I don't remember what it was.
But yeah, so that whole thing where people want to fight informs our discourse in a problematic way, because you can't have a conversation with somebody that has any sort of disagreement without people thinking you were starting a fight with them. I know that Brianna Wu recently was talking about how one of the things that made her turn, like, she grew up conservative and became liberal, was because she realized that a lot of liberals could have a discussion without it becoming ad hominem attacks. And that's certainly not every liberal.
No, certainly
but
not.
Like, it's important to have that ability in general. And I'm not saying conservatives can't have it. I'm saying that, dang it, Rain. I'm saying that, like, everyone needs to watch out, because in the discussion of rhetoric, when you talk about ways of speaking, there's essentially three rules to rhetoric, or three types of rhetoric.
Okay.
There's ethos, and there's pathos, and there's logos.
Okay, so
and
ethos and pathos sound really familiar. And ethos is like emotions, maybe?
No.
Okay, pathos is emotions?
Yes.
Okay. Ethos...
Pathos.
Pathos is emotions. Ethos is... Logos is obviously logical.
Yes.
How can you murder it without cooking it? Or cook it without murdering the rabbit?
Look, we just don't talk about the step before cooking.
Okay. Ethos must be ethical, maybe?
Yep.
Ha!
Got it.
Root words. Ha ha ha.
Yep. And of those three, pathos is generally acknowledged to be the least of them, and yet in American discourse, it's the one we use the most often. Like, it's basically what the entirety of Donald Trump's campaign is based around.
What, ethics?
Pathos.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The weakest of them.
You turned
Did
into...
Well, no, I might have said... Oh, I turned into a robot?
Yeah.
Okay, so pathos is the weakest of those.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the one we use, like, the most in American discourse, unfortunately.
Yeah, as evidenced by Donald Trump.
Yes, because that's basically what his whole thing is based on. Which makes it bad rhetoric, but bad rhetoric well delivered is still convincing. And that's what people forget about rhetoric, is that you can understand that you are making a weak argument, and you can deliver it in such a way that it convinces people that your argument is strong. And if you do that well, even people who would normally notice your argument is weak will start defending it. And that, to me, is the biggest problem in a lot of ways, is that you have to be really careful not to get suckered in by weak arguments that feel strong in your head.
That happens to me all the time.
Well, that's kind of why we started this show.
Yeah, but then it would be like that niggling feeling in, like, the back of my head that was like, something's up with this. What's going on here? It feels... like, good to believe one way, but then when you actually start thinking about it, you're like, wait, maybe I am wrong. Maybe I have to, like, think about this more.
And ultimately, that's actually Aristotle's point. I think that's Aristotle's rules for rhetoric, is that it feels good to believe pathological arguments, but that doesn't make them good arguments.
Yeah.
They just feel good to believe them, and he would be very much in the sense of, don't trust that feeling, trust your reason.
That's hard for me. Are those fireflies up there?
Yeah, I can't. I don't have a jar to catch them yet.
Why are you turning on fire?
Look, just don't even worry about it. I'm not lost, and my torch isn't dying.
To the left, to the left.
No, I think it's okay. Yeah, it is to the left. You're right.
I know. It's dark. It's
I think
so
we may
dark.
be dead. Oh my god. Oh wait, no, I can save us.
I can see it.
Don't
again.
even worry about it. Keep talking. What
Oh
were we
my
talking
gosh.
about?
I'm sorry. That was like a moment of
I made
panic.
it back to the camp. We're fine. Just don't even worry about it. You have important things to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, so the last thing, I guess, okay, so closing thought is, it just bothers me when,
When you wander off in the darkness like that, Zero, it just bothers me.
yeah, the last couple paragraphs of this article are talking about sort of rights and what rights are, and
Yeah.
the difference between, like, state-recognized rights, quote-unquote, God-given rights, and maybe inalienable rights? Inalienable rights?
Inalienable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I added the last one. But,
Okay.
the problem is, for me, is that I don't like God-given rights, because I'm, like, more of an atheist.
Because you're an atheist. I mean, that's the simple reason.
It is.
You're an atheist. You don't like God-given rights because you don't believe you have them.
Yeah. And also just because I feel, like other people might understand them differently. Like God is sort of like the state changes, its mind over time, that you might go to one state and something is like legal in one area and not legal in the other, but like what are the three like super big rights that everybody has? Freedom, liberty, the resistance to tyranny. Life, liberty, and the freedom to pursue happiness. Come here, happiness.
Yeah, there we go. Superman.
Yeah. Anyway.
So Tinder. Life, liberty, and Tinder.
Yay! I think they meant like jobs, but there you go.
The happiness in work, says Chicory.
Okay, are you ready for my terrible joke for this week?
All right, Chicory's terrible joke of the week. I'll if I have time, I will write you a bumper for your terrible joke for the week. I might not have time to do it for a while, but when I get around to it, I'll write you a ridiculous set bumper.
The worst is that now that it's been so long since we were saying that, I was gonna make a joke referencing Auschwitz and how work will make you free.
Okay, that would have been really terrible. I'm actually kind of glad I stopped that.
See? That's why they're terrible jokes, Zero.
In fact, that may have been enough.
Oh my god, I'm terrible.
Yeah. All right, so
Anyway.
I got to get back to our fireplace so I can fulfill the promise of playing.
What is that? Look, there's a fairy ring, Zero. Look.
Yes, it's an evil ring surrounded by evil plants. Look, evil flower.
Wow. Can you pick it?
I can pick it.
Ring thing. I advise against doing that. Also, you're hungry. You should go back and, oh, it's so evil. Go eat something. Eat one of the plants.
I can actually do that.
No, don't actually do it.
Except my bag is... No, hold on. I have to go back and kill some rabbits.
Okay.
And shave.
Great.
Anyway, you were saying...
But yeah, I don't like God-given rights. Because they change for everyone. Like, it's just a very personal thing, I think. Even for people that generally do consider themselves God-fearing, you might have different gods. You might have a different interpretation of the same gods. Like with the Christians that allow gay marriage, same-sex marriage.
And that's what we were talking about just now when we were talking about Sharia law versus Christian law. Different interpretation of the same overall, like, the capital G God in both those religions is the same God.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't really I think I have a problem with the concept of God-given rights, because I think they're more at the mercy of the mob instead of our minds.
Yeah, because you don't believe that, because essentially you don't believe God actually gave them to you, which means you see them as things that are purely interpretable by other humans.
Yeah, and I think that like legal rights, like state rights, are kind of just more out in the open about that. They're like, this is coming from the state, blah 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 blah. You should have the right to, weekends and like reasonable work hours and blah blah blah.
So there's a question inherent in that. And the question comes to that, is part of your dislike of God laws, for lack of a better term, is that when people talk about, say, godly laws or laws that come down from on high, you're more comfortable with someone who is honest and upfront that their laws are just an interpretation of things than you are with someone who wants to pretend that their laws are somehow better simply because they came from, say, a deity.
Yeah, yeah. I think that, and this is saying as somebody that likes, is pretty down with the last 5 laws of the 10 Commandments. The last 6 laws in some cases. That's like, don't steal, don't be jealous of your neighbor, don't kill each other, blah, blah, blah. Those are fine laws.
You're okay with coveting your neighbor's husband because it's better than yours? Oh, snap! You can tell him I said that.
Nobody's better than my husband.
I've only known him almost 20 years.
No, I don't have to.
He knows how I feel.
Anyway, my point is, yeah, I like people that are a little bit... I like the concept of laws that you can look at and inspect and say, well, do we need to keep this one? Is it still, like, helping us? Is it harming other people? Can we redraw it somehow, etc.? To be more equal, more fair. Not more equal, but more fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's my final thought, I guess.
That makes sense. You want things to be fair, and you don't necessarily believe religious laws have that sort of innate fairness you're looking for. Is that
certainly
a fair summary?
Not innate fairness. I think that they can have. I think that they can be interpreted in a fair way. But I think that it's just that. It's an interpretation of a law that was made by humans for humans.
Makes sense.
Anyway.
All right, are you ready for this magnificence?
Yes. What are we doing?
All right, it's night. It's late. Watch my face.
Okay. Wah! Clean shaven. Beard hair. Did you pick it up?
And now I have... Yep.
What are you going to do with the beard hair?
I stored it in Chester.
The pumpkin?
Yep. I've got my hat. I've got my armor.
What
I've got my
happened to
spear.
the flower? The flower wreath.
The flower rotted off my head.
It'll do that. They will do
that. Actually, what happened? I need to go get more. So,
they don't give
that's
you
our
different
closing
bonuses
thoughts, right?
or anything?
The hat gives me more defense. The flower helps my morale stay high.
Oh, I see. Cool. That's nice. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. If you look up in the corner, you'll see a heart, a stomach, and a brain.
Yeah, I see that.
The heart is my life. The stomach is my hunger.
Yeah, I
and the brain is my sanity.
Okay, cool. Very cool. I like this game a lot. Anyway,
yeah, it's fun.
So, thank you for listening to our show. Please like and subscribe our YouTube video, and hit us up on Twitter. I am 123 Chicory, and 0 is at 0 Utopia.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Bye.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.